Hi, I'm Frank Napoli, Marketing Director at Peer Analytics, with a rather bold claim. All equity oversight analytics are either ill-suited for oversight or provably invalid. Allow me to take a few minutes to explain. Isolating active performance from the random noise due to differences from a benchmark in passive market, sector, and style betas offers enormous opportunities for managing risk and detecting skill. Of course, there are already many equity analytics providers that claim to do this, including FactSet, Wilshire, Novus, and about a dozen others. The problem is when tested, they all fail to predict future performance. And analytics that are not predictive are not valid, and invalid analytics are dangerous. Since equity analytics influence such critical oversight decisions, users should not be swayed by provider name recognition or marketing stories, and instead only trust analytics that they can test and prove independently. Here's the problem. Current equity analytics all use the same underlying methodologies: Brinson attributions, active share, and returns-based style analysis, none of which model individual security risk exposures, and that's where they fail. Brinson and active share start with the assumption that all securities have the same market and sector risk. This premise, of course, is not even close to true. For example, Apple's recent market beta was 1.3, while Google's was only 0.6. Apple's tech sector beta was 2.3, while Oracle and IBM each had tech betas of 0.2. You might expect, as I did, that these differences in individual security betas would wash out in larger portfolios, but they don't. For example, the major tech indexes and largest tech funds have current sector betas ranging from 0.4 to 1.4. Clearly, individual securities have very different impacts on portfolio risk exposures. There's actually a real simple way to test Brinson attributions, and by implication active share. Since security selection return is defined as a residual, net of systematic risk, it is by definition uncorrelated with passive benchmarks. And to the extent security selection return and passive return are found to be correlated, the approach has failed. Returns-based style analytics, on the other hand, estimates average risk over a time period by regressing historical returns against market and style indices. Unfortunately, average historical risk has little relevance to current risk for active portfolios and its current risk. And more importantly, the specific exposures that explain risk that's required for attributions, risk control, and predicting future performance. Current risk by itself, without defining underlying exposures, is neither predictive nor actionable. These are the conceptual arguments. But ultimately, all that really matters is how well a given approach predicts future performance, how well the model fits reality. It doesn't matter how sophisticated a weather model might sound or how slick its packaging. All that matters is how well it predicts the weather. Existing analytics are not predictive, not valid, and you're likely to get wet. Users should only trust analytics they themselves can test. The alternative to flawed oversight analytics are equity factor-based risk models from Barra, BlackRock, Bloomberg, and a few others that, in contrast, are robust and highly predictive. Unfortunately, these models are designed for risk optimization and portfolio structure, and not for oversight. They are not designed to distinguish active from passive risk and return, which is key to detecting manager skill and for managing portfolio risk. We're offering a new alternative: robust, highly predictive, statistical equity risk models which explain over 96% of out-of-sample return that are built specifically to isolate skill and active risk. The approach precisely defines all portfolio risk exposures, both passively available exposures as well as individual security exposures, that together explain tomorrow's incremental return, and defines how much each will contribute to incremental return. Importantly, you can confirm the model's accuracy for yourself. Imagine the following implications. Number one, unintended passive risks can be offset with ETFs or by combining managers with complementary exposures. This reduces relative risk without sacrificing the active risk worth paying for. Number two, users can confirm that risk exposures are consistent with managers' mandate, style, and philosophy, and manager discussions can be more productive. Thirdly, users can avoid the 1/3 of active managers that appear to be closet indexing, taking insufficient active risk to ever compensate for fees. And lastly, and significantly, removing random noise from performance data reveals for the first time ever statistical evidence of persistent skill. Managers in the top skill decile are twice as likely to outperform over the next few years, while managers in the bottom decile are more than twice as likely to underperform. In fact, this approach accurately answers every quantitative due diligence question you might come up with. There it is. That's the pitch. The first predictive analytics that answers every critical risk and skill due diligence question with precise, provably valid data. Thank you for considering this new approach to isolating risk and skill. If you'd like to see an analysis of any particular manager or portfolio, we'd love to hear from you.